fifth or whatever to go well set. So yeah, a huge fortunes from a few games ago.
The captain and the coach continue to defend the batting lineup and defend their approach. Is that the right thing to do?
Yes, I think it is. I think Owen Morgan is in interviews saying that the journey they've come on going back to the World Cup, they were so far behind and therefore they're having to sort of press the extreme button. I think they're right to do that, and in so doing they're going to have moments like this. But that can't go on forever, and that can't go on for too much longer. And I think Owen Morgan is right, and I know we've debated this. You know, there's a right time and a wrong time for a captain to step into that dressing room and say, don't do this, don't do that, let's go back to doing this. You know, still got to let these young, free-spirited players play in a way that we haven't seen an English team play. So overall, yes, going in the right direction, but this is a huge set. I think it's more of a setback now, actually, because on the cusp of a global event, other teams will be looking into this England team, and perhaps 5 games ago they say, crikey, you know what, this England team are going pretty well. A, they're playing the brand of cricket that can win, and B, they're winning in that way. So having lost 5 games in a row, it's almost just taken a little bit of that presence and aura away from the team.
I mean, they were unlucky, but how do you explain losing 7 for 14 on that pitch at this ground?
Well, that's what we've got to try and pick the bones out, try and work out how that's happened. My thoughts on it at this stage, Nasser, are a little bit what we talked about at the top of the show when the team was announced, and I know you talked about it with Owen Morgan. When you pick so many batsmen and you've got so many options at 8, 9, 10, whatever it might be, it almost takes away some of the responsibility of the players to rebuild a partnership. It doesn't matter if I get out because so-and-so's coming in. And we heard a lot in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, about the depth of England's batting, and yet they've been bowled out here with 2 balls to spare. So sometimes you can almost have too much batting. And to go on from that a little bit, Owen Morgan's talked in the press about his inexperienced bowling lineup. And so in the conditions here, this intimidating environment against A.B. de Villiers et al., he's prepared to take one of his bowling options out when he knows clearly that he's going to probably want them, whatever score he's got out there. I thought it was a strange decision.
I thought it was an incredible decision. If I'm a captain, I turn up to this ground, I look around, I look at the opposition, and I think, I need an extra bowler, especially with my inexperience, especially what happened here last time in the ODI. I need the extra bowler. How do you think he felt? How do you think the bowlers went, the ones that they picked? Were they good enough?
Well, they're inexperienced and they came up against a whirlwind, A.B. de Villiers. And that's almost where, watching the game live, that was a momentum shift, wasn't it? 7 for 14, England well placed. Oh, okay, well, England are way short now. And they went out there and just played as if they were way short. You know, when you target and get a decent score, a pass score, sometimes that influence on the opposition team when they're chasing is, well, we just have to be a little bit careful here because that's a pretty good score. Whereas I think the whole game had just gone away from England after they fell away so badly with the bat.
The other thing we spoke about right at the top of the day was Jason Roy. That was a frenetic, odd innings. It looked like the innings of a man under pressure.
He is under pressure, and he's put himself under more pressure. And he's put the selectors under a bit of pressure as well, because I would suspect that he was their choice to open in the World T20. He may well still be their choice. He's actually my choice to open, but you're right. He's not doing himself any favours, and I think we both know that it's a bad time to fall out of form just before a global tournament. So he's making that task a little bit more tricky. And the way he played is, there's a couple of ways to play, aren't there, when you're out of form. One, go at every ball and try and blast yourself out of form, which is how he did it. Or two, just perhaps give yourself a little bit of time to get in and find your feet. But I think he feels his role is set. I've got to go off from the outset.
What about Chris Jordan? You spoke to him this afternoon, bowled well at Cape Town. He can't be just that one-dimensional cricketer that's just good at bowling Yorkers in the 17th and 19th over. He's got to offer a bit more, hasn't he?
He has, and he overall, you know, his bowling has still got a lot of work to do. I mean, we talk about the odd Yorker and bowling well under pressure, which he did in the last game, but generally the captain wants more from him. Again, I go back to the omission of David Willey. David Willey swings the white ball. The ball has swung here in these conditions, and you're taking out a bowler who swings it for a bowler, Chris Jordan, who generally is more hit the pitch and bowls well at Yorkers. So I don't think it was his role really to open the bowling.
We mustn't be too doom and gloom, because we only have to go back a week, and England have had a great year of one-day cricket. They've had a bad week at the office. He's described it, the skipper, as a blip. It's nothing terminal. Do you agree?
To a degree I do, and I go back to a moment here in the one-day international where Adil Rashid dropped Chris Morris and they could have won that one-day series. So a whole reflection on the last few weeks would be so different. England win the one-day series, and perhaps that then would have given them the confidence to play slightly better in here. So you do. I mean, the fielding is a concern though, Nas. I know we've talked a lot about it. Under pressure, that still needs to get a lot better.
And we saw that from South Africa again
Yeah.
today. They outfielded England. What were the positives? They talk about the positive. What was the best things that came out of this England side in these one-days?
I really enjoyed watching Alex Hales. I mean, when we got here to cover the one-days, he was a man under huge pressure. Everyone's saying, well, he's not good enough to play in Test match cricket. How would he react to getting back playing one-day cricket? Well, the answers are there. 5 consecutive half-centuries, 100 as well, showed glimpses of good form. So that's the real shining light. At times, Ben Stokes with the ball, definitely in the last game. Again, this is not Ben Stokes' role with the new ball. That's again, we go back to the team selection. I think he's developed a little bit with the ball, a couple of half-centuries in the one-dayers as well. So his emergence as a one-day player is absolutely crucial for England moving forward. He's improved.
Matt, England's tour of South Africa ends in disappointment. It was a tour of two halves. They went 2-0 up in the Test series, lost the last Test match. They went 2-0 up in the one-dayers, lost the last 3, and they lost the last 2 one-dayers. It has been a very, very fine tour to watch. England will regroup. Their next mission to go out to the World T20 and be better than England sides have been in world tournaments before.
Thanks, guys.